All Things Black with Garland and Calvin present Fanboys. Fanboys is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Now, here are your hosts, Garland and Calvin.
All Things Black presents Fanboys.
Blacker.
This is our weekly sports podcast. I'm Calvin. The guy that had to stretch over there was Garland. I saw you.
Or something.
Yeah, you threw your rotated cuff out. What's going on, sir?
I'm good, bro. Last weekend I want to apologize to all of our fanboy uh, listeners. The weekend wouldn't let me be great. I kept on trying to find somewhere with a Wi-Fi signal that would be a little bit quiet. And every place I went to, it was like 80,000 people. It was a beautiful day last weekend. And so everybody was out. And I could find nowhere to go and to sit down in the tape and then try to do it on Sunday, and the Lord said, "No, thou shalt not record on Sunday, this Sunday, and stuff." And so, yeah, we missed the little tidbits last week, but the sports world keeps on turning, so there's always more to talk about.
I tried to tell Garland, why don't you just go to McDonald's? He ain't want to sit in the Playland jungle
No.
gym with the kids. He ain't want to sit there. I was like, you can just go to McDonald's and go ahead. That's what, before Wi-Fi was everywhere, people either used to go to the library or the McDonald's. I tried to tell them to go to McDonald's.
And now at McDonald's, since they don't have anybody working at the counter anymore, it's pretty much empty in there. You go, if you decide to go in and put your order, you're just basically dealing with a screen. And so I could have, but no, I wanted to give quality. I didn't want to have the golden arches or the golden arcs as it is at McDonald's. I didn't want to have the golden arches behind me and Ronald coming after me like, "Hey, did you have permission to have the golden arcs behind you?"
That's that's that old Harford County fancy stuff. Because here in Baltimore, we still got workers at our McDonald's. How may I help
ain't
you?
no work. It's even in the ones in the city.
I help you? No, we still got them.
Going to the one on McLean Boulevard and see if somebody in there.
See, that's at Harford County where they be like, "How may I take your order? Please press the button for the item you'd like to select."
No, it's all touchscreen, man. COVID then took everybody's job. Ain't nobody at the nobody at the tolls no more to collect your money. Ain't nobody at the counter to collect your money. It's more to go spots than it is parking spots so you can go in. And so, thank you, COVID.
Hey, COVID got me working from home, so thank you, COVID.
Thank you, COVID.
COVID got me 3 days at home, so
we got to thank COVID for the hybrid schedule. So yeah, thank you, COVID. I mean, you did take some things, but you did give us some things. So
hey, make sure you continue to join us every weekend with our sports podcast. We are actually live on YouTube as we speak, so you can see our pretty mugs and you can see me with the no hair and Garland with the hair. I just want y'all to know technology is coming out, and I'm gonna start. One day I'm gonna pop up with some hair. One day I'm gonna pop up with some hair. So if you're watching on YouTube, or you can watch us on Spotify when we drop the podcast. But if you're watching us, you'll see me with some hair. But anyway, what we got going on today, Garland?
Bro, NBA playoffs are fantastic. Great games last night. Great series going on. So we're going to tap on a little bit of that. Some things going around in the league. Definitely going to get to the NFL. Big thing happened in the middle of the week. Jalen Hurts with his contract. Also Friday, breaking news about 5 players being suspended for gambling. And we're going to talk a little draft. We're not going to get too deep. The draft is next week. We do want to acknowledge that. Also, a little Major League Baseball, some relocation that's possibly get ready to happen. And we're going to end it with the favorite segment in sports talk. Come on, yo. And so let's go ahead and start with a little NBA. Right now, we're in the first round of the playoffs, Eastern Conference. We got the first seeded Bucks and the 8th seed Heat. They're tied 1-1. The game switched back to Miami. I believe they're playing today. Second seed Celtics, they're up 2-1 over the 7th seed Hawks. The Hawks won last night in a close game, high scoring, but they were able to prevail. The 3rd seed Sixers are up 3-0 on the 6th seed Nets. They're trying to close out today in Brooklyn, but they're not going to have Joel Embiid for that game. He's out with a sprained right knee, and so we'll see if Harden and others, Tyron Maxey has been playing very well for them, so they may go ahead and still close out. And then we got fifth seed Knicks. They won last night in a blowout over the Cavs. The Cavs just have not been shooting the ball that well outside of Donovan Mitchell. They're leading that series 2-1, and of course New York is going crazy because anytime they win anything, it's all about the world of New York. Over in the Western Conference, we got the first seed Nuggets. They're up 3-0 over the eighth seed Wolves. They pulled out a good win last night, led by Djokovic. And they're just continuing to show that they're the class of the Western Conference right now. You got your second seed Grizzlies and your seventh seed Lakers, Calvin's seventh seed Lakers. They're tied 1-1 in that series. You got Dylan, who is poking the bear. He said he loves to poke bears, and he's been messing with LeBron. Said LeBron is old, and he would rather play against LeBron from the Miami Heats. The LeBron is playing now is an old bear, and so he's out here poking the stick on LeBron. We'll see if LeBron get his Beijing right and come out and show up again. Maybe he might go back to the Cavs LeBron instead of the Miami Heat LeBron. The third seed Kings, they're up 2-1 over the defending champion, six seed Warriors. I think I did pick the Warriors to win. I think you picked the Celtics to win the NBA championship this year when we back in the summer when we were before the season started. And so
no, I picked the Nuggets. I've
you
been
did
going with the
okay,
Nuggets all season.
okay. And so the Warriors, a little controversy there. We're going to talk about Draymond in Draymond in a minute, putting the first name and the last name together. We're going to talk about Draymond in a minute, but the Warriors doing what they do, win at home, but they can't win on the road, and they needed that game, and they got a big game, 30 plus from Steph. And we got the fourth seeded Suns are up 2-1 over the fifth seed Clippers, and Clippers really ain't got nobody. America's walking injury next to Zion Williamson is Kawhi Leonard. He's out again with a sprained knee, might not return. They already didn't have Paul George, although they were able to pull off the first one. And they just got Westbrook, and don't call him Westbrook because he almost beat someone up after the first game and all. The man and his son was back in the lounge, and he almost slapped the bejesus out of this man because the man called him Westbrook, and
in
then told
uniform.
him, yeah, in his uniform, then told him, just take it. Don't be a baby, take it. That's a lot. I don't care. That's a lot of mossy, man. People, these fans is just crazy now. They just talk all types of, let me get my burner. They just talk all types of crazy shit to you now. They say all types of shit. His son just eating a pizza like, he's like, take it. You're Westbrook. And so, man, first of all, what did you think about Draymond and this whole stomp thing, man? People, a lot of pundits have been saying Draymond shouldn't have been suspended for stomping on Sabonis, and Sabonis was holding his leg. But come on, people. He did Drew Hill. My man Calvin posted early this week on Facebook. If you follow Calvin on Facebook, he's a great follow. Yeah, that he basically did the "Tell me what you want" step on Sabonis's chest. Tell me what you want. Tell me, babe. So ain't no way in God's green earth that this man was not going to be suspended, and he did it in front of the commissioner. Come on, bro. So, what did you think about? What was your thoughts about Draymond and the "Tell me what you want" stomp?
I mean, it's clear Sabonis kind of led him into that. He did
You
hold him
think
in it.
he was
He
holding
was
his
kind of,
leg like
yeah. I
Sealy
mean,
holding on to
we not
Mister's
going,
leg?
yeah, we not going to act like Sabonis is the victim. I think he was like, I fell down and I just couldn't get up. I think we know you grabbed his leg, but with that being said, we know Draymond stomped him. Draymond just
Draymond,
stomped.
stop. He was like Kirk Franklin. Stop. All my people say, stop.
What was that show about the racist Nazi guy that Ed Norton was in? Wasn't that called American what it called?
American X.
American
American
X.
History X.
American History X. That's how he
Yeah.
stomped that dude's chest. He like put
That
his
is
mouth on the
mouth on
curb
the
and just
curb.
stomped him. He stomped Draymond stomped him. And then tried to bounce up real quick. I was like, yo, Draymond, he had to be suspended. I mean, come on,
Draymond, a
yo.
wild boy.
Even
Yo.
his own team knew he had to be suspended. Like he had to be suspended. I'm surprised it was just one game. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
thinking if it wasn't the first round of the playoffs, he might have been suspended 2 or 3 games in this one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he
Come
had to
on,
be.
Draymond, and you
He
got a
had to be,
history. You know,
and he got
Draymond,
a
he's
history.
got a
Yeah.
history. If they would have lost that game three, you know, Draymond has done some critical things. That I mean, they should have repeated when they won the 73 games that season, and he kicked LeBron in the Nets, and he was suspended for the game, and the Cavaliers wound up catching fire and came back down from 3-1 to win that series. Um, I definitely don't think they bring him back after the season. And I'm not saying
Oh
just because of that incident, but because he's really not he's not giving you anything but energy and some rebounds, and
well,
he plays defense, but
I
that's about it.
I think he gives them a little. I think he gives them a
Hmm.
little more than what they currently have. But you have to move on from Draymond because of the money situation that he's
Yes.
going to command, and also he hit Jordan Poole in his mouth, like beginning of the season. Let's
Yeah, we
not
talked
forget
about
that.
this. Yeah, we
And
kind of all forgot that he snuck him, and it
yeah,
wasn't
and
even
and
like
we
a fair
know
one. He snuck him.
we know that the future for them is the guys Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins. That's their future. So
Hmm.
somebody has to go, and it's not going to be Steph. It's not going to be Clay. It's going to be Draymond.
Yeah, yeah. And so we see what happens. I think they play again tonight. And so we see more than likely the Warriors will probably win this. They say that the series doesn't start until the home team wins a game. And so we see what happens right now. The home teams are holding court in terms of winning on the home floor. I think for me, I'm not necessarily surprised about the Knicks over the Cavs. The Cavs are just they were great during the season, but they just don't have great. These guys don't have playoff history, and so I know they were in the play-in last year, but that was totally different. The Knicks, they're just giving it to them in some aspects, and the shooting on the Cavs hasn't been all that great. Darius Garland, uh, I think he only had 10 points yesterday. Terrible shooting game. Evan Mobley has not played well for them in this series. I'm surprised that Joel Embiid did not get suspended a game for kicking Claxton. He kind of almost hit he grazed the nuts just a little bit. He didn't exactly kick him, but he grazed them with his kick. But he did get suspended. But he's not playing today because of the sprained knee. But I mean, the Sixers, they've shown up. They have not taken their foot literally off of the neck of the Nets, and you know, I want to see. I think Doc needs to go deep in the playoffs or at least get to the finals to keep that job. You know, so
Uh,
what do you think about the Sixers?
Doc is sick of you motherfuckers always talking about him. Doc's sick of y'all
Hey
asses.
Joe, hey Joe, kick him in the nuts, Joe.
Doc, like, look, every season y'all talk about how I'm not a good coach, and all I do is consistently take my teams to the playoffs. Doc just can't win it all, and Doc's sick of y'all asses. Doc gonna come out the East this year. Doc coming out the East. Sixers coming
Doc,
out the East this year.
we gonna see. We gonna see. I mean, the Bucks. The Bucks always lose that first game, and they play down. And Giannis, you know, hopefully he'll be back for game three, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think Doc his teams always manage to
Doc's sick of y'all.
underperform. Yeah, Doc is really sick. What you think about this Grizzly and the Lakers series? John Morant, I think sometimes he's going to have to learn to pull up and stop trying to dunk on everybody. Yes, that's great during the regular season job because nobody's playing defense. And so a lot of times some guys are not trying to take charges. They're just trying to get out the way. You're not going to make too many posters in the playoffs, and it's more valuable that you're on the floor instead of trying to jump over a 7 footer to dunk on them. And so I'm not sure what his status is for today's game, but it's turned out to be a good series. I mean, we got a little bit of the good Lakers when they're hot, they shoot well, they can run you out the gym. And then Reeves had a big first game, but then the second game they were not so hot. Rory Hachitachi, as I like to call him, Hachitachi, Hashitachi. So Hashitachi, he
You're
had the
so
first,
wrong.
I know, the first game he had 28, but I think he was on a milk cart in the second game. And so, what do you think about your Lakers' chances going home and taking the lead in the series?
Man, so the problem with my Lakers is exactly what we saw in game two. First game, they did what they were supposed to do. Oh, and by the way, let's give some credit. I'm going to take some credit away from him too, but let's give some credit to Anthony Davis on that collision with Ja, because when the smoke cleared,
He
Anthony
got up.
Davis got up. He
He
got up.
got up.
Y'all gonna stop. Y'all gonna stop. As
The
soon as he
grave
got
could
hit in
not
the
hold
head,
him. He
as
got
soon as
up.
he got hit while Ja was in the air, he just started hearing Donnie McClure. We fought down, but we get up. He got right on up.
He got up.
But let me take some credit away from him. So game two, and this is
Yeah, they didn't
common
have a
with
good game.
anyone that's been talking about the Lakers. Game two, Anthony Davis was supposed to take over. The Lakers needed to go up 2 games on the number 2 seed's home floor and then bring it home.
Right.
And they did not do that. And it wasn't LeBron's fault. It's because Anthony Davis just disappears in some of these games. And he's supposed to be the one carrying the team. It's been said by anybody that is a Lakers fan, anybody that watches sports. In year 20, LeBron James is not supposed to be the number one option on the team. He's supposed to be the best number two option on every team. Anthony Davis was, they traded away everything to make Anthony Davis their number one player. And he just is not doing it, and he did not do a game two. So I think the Lakers still have a chance, but I think they missed a golden opportunity, and they actually gave the Grizzlies life. Now you do have to go to LA and play, so that'll probably help the home court advantage. But you could have taken all of their heart away by winning 2 games in Memphis, and so. I still want my Lakers to come out. I still think they have a chance, but I think they gave the Grizzlies life that they didn't need to give them.
Yeah, we'll see what LeBron shows up. I mean, because the LeBron that was just a terror that just could not be stopped. That LeBron probably left after the bubble, after that very easy bubble championship.
Whoa! You
I
mean the
know,
most
I know.
difficult championship
Anyway,
ever to win when you're secluded in the land of Disney and you don't know anybody but the people around you? You gotta fend for yourself. You gotta live off of the elements. You mean that championship when
live
the
off
world
the
around you is
elements.
burning down and the only things for survival is to play this game? You have the fate of the world
That's
on your
crazy.
shoulders. You mean that championship?
Yes, the fake championship. As a matter of fact, man, just it's scary even to think back to during that time because that was the only thing on TV. We were all in the house
Again,
like, oh
so
my god.
that's another added. So the only thing on TV is you playing. You have the hopes and dreams of the entire world
Yeah,
on your back.
they were playing games at 1 o'clock in the middle of the day because when nothing else on TV.
They were the real life soap opera.
Yeah.
And you
Yes,
trying to tell me that wasn't,
they
that's
were
the
bold
hardest
and the
championship
beautiful.
to win. That was the hardest championship to win. I'm trying to tell you, man. Everything was riding on that. Had the Lakers lost, we don't know where the world would be today.
Yeah,
We just don't know. It was like real life Space Jam. Real life
real
Space
life,
Jam.
real life Space Jam. Who was the enemy? COVID.
COVID and the Miami Heat.
Oh my goodness. The Toronto Raptors, they fired head coach Nick Nurse on Friday, clearing the way for Ime Udoka to become a serious candidate to replace him, a source told ESPN. Now, Nurse, who coached the Raptors to the franchise's first NBA title in 2019, met with team president Masai Ujiri several times in recent days before a decision was made Friday to dismiss him, sources said. And Toronto, they finished 41-41 this season before losing to the Chicago Bulls and DeMar DeRozan's daughter in the 9-10 game of the Eastern Conference play-in tournament. And so Nurse, he brings them their first championship. He doesn't know the black way to quit a job. You quit before they fire you so you can get your benefits. But I guess he's not
No,
worried.
you got to
Maybe
get
that doesn't
fired to
work
get your
different in
benefits.
Canada.
No, you
You
got
got
to get
fired.
fired to
Oh,
get your
so he
benefits.
probably
Yeah.
went in there and just like knocked stuff off his desk.
Yeah.
Maybe it's different in Canada. You never know. And so, so he gets fired. And so, seriously, and I heard some pundits say this: was this Drake's fault? Did Drake call for the firing of Nick Nurse? Rap star Drake, Canadian rap star Drake.
I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, in
Super fan
Toronto,
Drake.
yeah, in Toronto, they treat Drake like. I mean, wasn't it that it was big news when Drake couldn't get in the locker room? He couldn't go back and celebrate the championship, and he was like, "I'm part of the team."
Right. Drake is like the
Yeah, I
Jerry
wouldn't put
Buss
it
of the
past him.
Raptors.
Hey man, Nick Nurse is a decent coach. I think there's word that he may be in line for the Houston Rockets job. It was
That
probably
would be
time for
good.
him to go in Toronto anyway. You know, he
Hmm.
won the championship there, and I mean, but just like all sports, it's what have you done for me lately? And then if
Sure.
you have the chance to get Ime Udoka, then you go ahead and get him. He's definitely has proven in Boston outside of you just make sure you just have a whole bunch of males working in your
Yeah,
office
this
because well I
Canadian
mean
women, watch out.
actually you don't even need males in your office. He ain't with Nia Long anymore. Nia, you okay, girl? You all right? I,
Cola.
s- I seen you. I seen your Instagram post. You look like you living a good life now. You look like you over it. I'm
Yeah,
glad you
Cola. Cola that moved
you
on.
know
She was out with
yeah.
Lorenz Tate one night. They walking in the rain and stuff. Like, whoa, Cola,
I seen her with
slow down.
Lorenz Tate again. I seen her out with what's Omarion. I was just like, man,
Ew, now she done gone down. Something wrong.
yeah, man. That's
She
that's
out
when
with
she.
Mario.
I think that's when she was
If
trying to find herself again.
if
You know,
she out with Ray J, then
she's
we know
feeling
something really
down.
wrong.
Yeah, but she lately she been posting. I mean I just seen it on Instagram. I don't necessarily follow her.
Mm,
But you
anyways,
okay, girl? You all right
yeah.
there?
You all
All
right,
right.
Cola? Cola, I hope you
All
fine.
right,
And
yeah,
so we'll see what
But
happens.
anyway, you get a chance to
Yeah.
get email. You gotta get email. Give him a
Hey, if I
chance.
was the Wizards, I know they got Wes Unseld, and I know you got some legacy there.
You
But I
can't.
mean, Nick Nurse is on the market.
Yeah, get Nick Nurse because you can't get email in DC. Not,
Right. Oh no, I
not,
oh no.
not,
I no.
not in DC.
No,
Now
no
I hear
DC fans.
Toronto. I hear
Nah,
Toronto
Mo.
is wealthy also, but I don't think
Right.
anything is as wealthy as
Nah,
DC.
Mo.
I don't
He
think.
be he be in the whole Mo language. Nah, Mo.
I don't think. I don't think anything is as wealthy as DC. And if you've never been to
Right.
DC and experience, you don't even have to experience DC nightlife. Just walk around DC on a nice day.
Right.
You'll be like, my God. And don't go downtown on the day or the weekday on a work day. What
Right.
in the
Nah, Mo.
hell? Yeah,
Nah, Mo.
DC is very wealthy, very wealthy. But no,
Yes.
and also I think in Toronto when you got Muser, what's the general manager's name? And then you get email.
Masai Ujiri.
How you gonna pronounce either one of their names? Like you get both of them in there, you just be like them two dudes right there, them two
Right.
black guys right there. They run the team, the general manager and
The,
the head coach. They
the
run the
African name dudes.
team. But no, I think Nick Nurse will bounce back. I mean,
Yeah.
within any
He's white,
professional
Calvin.
sport,
He's going to get a job
yeah,
soon.
that's what I'm just about to say. In the professional sport, the white guys will always get a second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth chance. And I think
Yeah.
Nick Nurse has the
I'm not
resume
worried about
to go. I mean, and he's getting fired off of a team coming off of a playing game. So it's not like they had a horrible season. It
it.
just
Right.
wasn't up to, I guess, Toronto's expectation. Go figure. You finally won a championship a few years ago, and now you're
Right.
so good. You gotta
Got to
be in it
win.
every year.
And I'm sure he's probably looking for DeMar DeRozan's daughter. I mean, I watched the game and I kept on hearing this
I kept
scream.
hearing it
And I
too.
was like, what is that? And then to see it was his daughter, and then to find out she had to have armed guard escort out of the arena afterwards because of online threats. People, come on. They give us these loud things to make noise when people are taking foul shots in the game. What are you talking about? They play music and clapping sounds and all this stuff. And y'all gonna hurt a little 10-year-old girl for
You
screaming every time somebody took a foul shot?
you mad at the little girl for screaming, but not mad at the guy taking missing the foul shots that's making
Right.
$1 million. Like you, your focus is wrong. You mad at her? You mad at the girl for screaming, but
They
not mad at the
mad.
guy making millions and missing the free throw. And by the way, I don't know if anyone realizes this, but free throws are uncontested. Like
Right.
there's no one in your face.
That's why they're
Like
free.
it's just you.
Yeah.
It's just you in the basket.
Yeah. So that scream just totally messed up that team, and so Nick Nurse, we sure you end up with the job before the start of next season. Let's
Absolutely.
transition to the NFL. Five players were suspended for gambling. It was reported yesterday that four Lions players, including 2022 first round pick Jameson Williams, were among five players league wide to be suspended for violating the NFL's gambling policy after an investigation by the league. Three of the players have a indefinite suspension for betting on NFL games, and Williams and another Lions teammate are suspended for 6 games because they did not bet on NFL games. They bet on college football games, but made online bets at the Lions team facility, which is against NFL rules. And so, Calvin, I'm a little confused, and this is my question that we can our discussion point. Is the league setting itself up for failure with this partnership with online sports betting? Because, okay, sports betting is illegal, but every other commercial that I saw during NFL games is for sports books, it's for online betting. You have several teams that now have sports books in the stadium where you can go and do live betting during the game. These sports books are now sponsors of various NFL advertising games, whatever. And so, where's this fine line? Where's this dividing line? Because you're taking billions of money. I mean, you located one of your teams in Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world. And so I'm a little confused because I don't understand. You, it's all right for the owners to take the money, but it's bad for the players to bet at the team facility.
Yeah, I think it's one of those don't get high on your own supply type situations.
Yeah,
It's
come
it
on,
and
Easy E.
it's really education to the players. The perception and integrity can be questioned when you have players actually gambling, and I think it. So you go back to Calvin Ridley when he was suspended. He
Hmm.
was actually he wasn't playing. Remember, he was out
Right,
for the
he
year,
was out
hurt
injured.
anyway.
Hmm.
He wasn't playing, and it was alleged because he's denied this. But it was alleged that he was actually betting on Atlanta Falcons games. So he's not there to have any impact on it. So I guess if he did do it, he felt like, hey, I should be able to bet on this. Just like these guys being suspended, I think three of the guys were suspended because they placed bets inside of the facility. So when you put your
Yeah, Jameson
location
and
services
William
on,
and
yeah,
the other Lions teammate was suspended because they did it in the facility.
yeah,
The other three players were suspended because they bet on NFL games.
exactly. So it's one of them things that, it's integrity and perception, and they just have to educate them a little more. It's so new and it's such a fine line that, I don't think they're against them betting. They are against them betting on their own sport, and you have rules that we don't want you betting on our in our location. So I think it's more of education. I don't think the NFL, like I said, unless it's their own sport, they're not against betting. You just have to you got to keep up that we don't want our players being seen gambling inside the facility, which I understand. You know what I mean? It's just like you and I had a conversation one day about like my place of employment, some of the things that I can't be seen
Right.
doing and
Hmm.
stuff like, and it's
Yep.
just about perception. It doesn't necessarily make it right or wrong. It's just about perception. So I don't think they're against it. It's just more education. And these are young guys, and when they got that kind of money for you and I, betting $20 and $30 is exciting. Imagine being able to bet 20 and $30,000 and not
Sure.
missing it if you're going to lose. It's
Sure.
exciting. Everybody gambling. That's why gambling is so big, because people can make it big and it's just exciting. So I just think it's more about education, educating the players more and more. These are the ones that got caught. I'm sure they're not the only ones doing it.
I agree with you. I think to me it really it's a hypocritical type of thing that I'm looking at in terms of where you're taking I'm not going to say it's blood money, but you're taking big money from these big gambling corporations, and but you have this rule about the players, and it's not really clearly defined. To me, I think it's just always, it's an area of conflict for me. That if, okay, if you're going to be the league, you shouldn't take any betting money in terms of from the sports books, and your people, no, as a player you should not be able to bet. And that's been, this is not the first time a player's ever been suspended for betting. I wasn't there when it happened, but in the 60s, Alex Karros, you remember him, he had the show with Lil Webster. Him and Paul Hornick were suspended for a year for, they were associating with gamblers. They were not even, it wasn't even proven that they were betting on games. They just knew some people who were betting on games, and they got suspended. And so I just think there's this, we're going to see a lot more of this.
Yeah,
We're going to see a
absolutely.
lot more of this. And also, like you said, it's education. Come on, man. If you are going to be gambling online, you got to know you can't do it at the facility. And you got
And
to
you
know
got to
if
know you
you,
can't do it on your in your own sport, whether you're
yeah, you
playing
can't, you
in
got
that
to know
game
you
or
can't
not.
do it in
You
your
you
own
sh-
sport.
you can't do
That's
it in
right.
your own sport.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens, but, this might be not even the tip of the iceberg, because I'm sure there's probably more people that are doing
But to the and not to the NFL's credit, because I never like to give them credit, but
it.
you
Mm-hmm.
have to jump on it and you have to make harsh penalties when you find it, because if you don't, you start running into situations like what's the guy's name in basketball, Tim Donaghy, that was
Yeah.
shaving
Tim
points as a
Donaghy.
referee.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Pete
Right.
Rose. Pete Rose is still suffering
Pete Rose.
from gambling on baseball and gambling on his
Mm-hmm.
own team in games that he was playing. You know what I mean? You got to stay away from. By the way, let Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. I don't care about none of that gambling stuff.
Hit King. You gotta let him in.
Pete Rose is was an amazing baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to make sure that you don't run into those situations. You've had college teams doing the same thing, shaving points
Mm-hmm.
just to meet gambling lines. So you gotta jump in some kind of way just to stop the little stuff and give harsh penalties. That way, you want people to think twice about doing the bigger stuff. So. But
Right.
like you said, it's not going to stop. You're always going to get people skating the line. Look at even here in our own hometown. You remember Art Schlichter? Art
Yeah.
Schlichter
Oh my
was
lord.
ooh,
For everybody's education, Arch Leicester was a quarterback at Ohio State. As a matter of fact, he was the quarterback of the last team that Woody Hayes coached when Woody Hayes punched a Clemson player in the neck after Schlichter threw an interception in the final seconds of the Gator Bowl. I'm old enough to say I actually saw that game on TV. And so Arch Leicester was drafted, I think, second in that draft that year, and he was supposed to come in to kind of be the savior of the organization, because I think they had just let go Burt Jones, who was like the big quarterback here for the Baltimore Colts, and Sleester was horrible. And
to say the least.
yeah, and then to come to find out, he was a gambling addict and he was betting on games. It's funny. I had a friend who had a friend that was on the Colts team where he worked at the facility, and he said the guy used to tell him all the time, like, man, Arch Schlichter, he really misses his girlfriend because he's always on the phone every minute that he gets a chance. Well, he wasn't calling his girlfriend, he was calling his bookie. And so they didn't even know. And this guy, I mean, as a matter of fact, I think he's in prison now for some, not gambling related, but something.
They
His
did an
life just really, yeah.
ESPN special on him some years ago
Yeah, yeah,
to show.
yeah. So I think it
Yeah.
was some embezzlement, something that had to do with money. So yeah, I think he's still been dealing with some of the ramifications of that. So yeah, Art Schlichter, Mike Pagel. Don't even get me started
Mike
naming Baltimore coach.
Pagel.
Yeah, Mike Pagel,
Curtis Dickey.
Curtis Dickey, Randy McMillan. Come on, man. Horrible coach team. Chris Hinton. They traded instead of drafting Elway, they traded all these picks. It just got Chris Hinton, Mark Herman. Remember Mark Herman? Anyway, the Baltimore Colts, right when they were about to die and move away. That was the worst time. All right, let's talk a little Jalen Hurts. He signs a big deal for the Eagles. Eagles quarterback is the NFL newest highest paid player. He and the Eagles agreed to a 255 million 5-year contract extension that includes 179.3 million guaranteed. The 51 million average annual value is the largest in league history, putting him ahead of Aaron Rodgers, who's at 50.3 mil, Russell Wilson, who's at 49, Kyler Murray, who's at 46 mil, Deshaun Watson, who is at 46 mil, and Patrick Mahomes, who's at 45. So, of course, here in Baltimore, the Hurts contract was a major conversation point because of its impact on the Ravens organization and its negotiations with Lamar Jackson, excuse me, and the NFL quarterback market. Now, according to Sarah Ellison, she's a great follow on Twitter. If you
Really
want to
is.
follow her
Really is.
at SG Ellison, she's a great Ravens follow. Now, while the total value of Hurts' deal is $5 million more than Jackson's, it's 255 to 250. The Ravens offered Jackson more guaranteed at signing. They allegedly offered him 133, and Hurts got 110, and more total guaranteed, 200 million versus 179 million. And so most pundits believe that this deal was good news for the Ravens and bad for Lamar, money in the contract. The contract is not fully guaranteed, which is believed to be a sticking point between Lamar and the Ravens. And so, based on what we've seen so far, my guess, Calvin, is that Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, who are next up for big contracts, will find guarantees that are more in Hurts' neighborhood than Watson's. And if all three quarterbacks sign similar deals before Jackson gets something done in Baltimore, what's Jackson's next move?
Well, let me start with one of the things that we all keep forgetting, and well, not all of us. A lot of us are holding the Ravens' feet to the fire on this one. Um, Jalen Hurts signed this contract not at the end of his current contract. This is a contract extension. The one thing that the Ravens seem to have a huge problem with when it comes to their franchise quarterbacks, they did the same thing with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl, but that was the last year of his contract. They had to sign him to a new contract. Lamar Jackson, they have to sign him to a new contract. If you sign him as a contract extension, you don't even face the Deshaun Watson contract. You can set the market at that point. I think this it does hurt Lamar Jackson though, because if he is looking for fully guaranteed, and I say if because again, he's always said I'm not looking for fully guaranteed. I never
Mm-hmm.
asked for that. If he is looking for fully guaranteed, he's going to see that that was the outlier, as we all knew. Now, when it comes to Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, I generally believe, maybe not Justin Herbert, but I generally believe Joe Burrow is going to ask for much more money than Jalen Hurts,
Mm-hmm.
rather. I think he's going to ask for more money. Now, is he going to get more money? Is he going to get more guaranteed? These contracts are so intricate. We'll see. So, what the
Mm-hmm.
Ravens have to do is try to find a way to sign Lamar. Now, Lamar has to agree to something because you should not get as much as Jalen Hurts. You were an MVP, but that was some years ago. Jalen Hurts just came off of a Super Bowl run where they could have legitimately won that Super Bowl. So
Yeah,
you
if they
you
weren't playing on the
you're
ice
not going
rink.
to get
Mm-hmm.
as much as he is, and you should not get as much as he has gotten. So you got to find a way to kind of get close to that. And if what Sarah reported was true, you might want to revisit that and say, hey, let's go ahead and sign that contract.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna push back on the Flacco and the extension piece. The Ravens, they did try to extend him before the end of the contract, and both
But did
players
they
said
really
they,
try? But did they
yeah,
really try? I know
I
they
think
say they tried.
they did. They tried, and both players pushed back and said they would rather bet on themselves in so many words, and that's what Flacco did, and that's what Lamar did. Flacco won his bet. Lamar did not win his bet.
Flacco won big time.
Yeah, Flacco won big time, and so I they definitely have been trying to, and hey, we're gonna go at Lamar's pace, and it looks like Lamar's pace is no pace at all because they didn't do anything. Lamar didn't do anything, and so I still think he's not going to get a deal. If the sticking point is getting more than Watson, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to
It's
happen.
not going to happen. He's not going to get a fully guaranteed deal. As a matter of fact, if we look at it now, this is the third straight quarterback deal that has not been fully guaranteed since the Watson contract. And so obviously, that is not the trend of the league. That is not the trend for the position. Yeah, they're getting more guaranteed money up front, but the three that sign after him are not getting fully guaranteed deals. And I, I really just think right now, I don't know what happens with Lamar. Yeah, he's going to have to take what's already on the table. He's going to have to play under the tag, or he's going to have to sit out. And I think sitting out is a nuclear decision. People still saying, I still hear some people saying, well, he still has leverage because they don't have a quarterback. Trust me, they would not go this far without having a safe plan in case Lamar decides he's not going to sign the tender and play the season. They will not go into this season with Tyler Huntley as its starting quarterback. I
Well,
believe that.
but let's think about it, and I'll also say that's misguided that they will not go into the season without Lamar Jackson as quarterback, because I agree with you. And but I will say they may go into it with Tyler Huntley. I think reports are coming out that Tyler
Yeah, he
Huntley's going to
signed in the
sign.
tender.
Yeah, but
But
here's the thing: you got to figure. Let's say they do. They could look at this season as okay. So we'll go in with Tyler Huntley. We will pretty much tank, but look at the quarterbacks that are coming out next year. You
yeah,
know what I mean? So they
yeah,
they may look at it like, well, fine, because we're not going to march them out there with a fully guaranteed contract.
right.
We're
Yeah,
not going to do
and
it.
that's what I'm
We're just
saying.
not
So,
going to do it.
and so most people are thinking like the Ravens have not thought this out.
No,
I'm yeah,
yeah, they
they've
thought
thought
it
this
out.
out.
They
They've
thought
thought
it
this
out.
out. That's why they have the leverage right now.
Yeah.
They thought it out. And trust me, they already have a plan that hey, if he don't sign this offer sheet, if he does not sign the franchise tender, this is who we're going to target, who's left in free agency. We'll get Tyler
Exactly.
ready to play. And if these people can come in and play for us, if Tyler doesn't make it through the season or we need to make a switch, we'll do it. And so I'm
I mean,
sure that they
Jacoby Brissett didn't play too bad, holding on
right.
to Deshaun. Now, I'm not advocating for it. I want you all to understand. I'm a Lamar
I
guy.
want him to sign. I
I
want
want
him to
them
be
to
with the team.
sign Lamar. I don't want them to sign anyone else. But
Mhm.
they're not going to give him a fully guaranteed
Yeah,
contract. It's
yeah.
not going to happen.
If that's the sticking point, just because my friend jumped off the roof does not mean I should jump off the roof as well. Okay, just because Calvin doesn't like corned beef doesn't mean I'm joking. He likes corned beef.
No,
You don't like pastrami. You don't know the whole thing about
no,
pastrami.
it's the corned beef. It's I think that it's I don't dislike it. I think it's overrated.
Okay, just because Calvin does not like Box Hill crab cakes does not mean I should not like Box Hill crab cakes.
I think
Okay.
they're overrated. Let's go back. Just because Garland loves Box Hill crab cakes doesn't mean that I love no, but no, you all get what
You
we're
get what
saying.
we're saying. And so yeah, so we'll see what happens. And we got the draft. I think one of the things that's going to impact this is the draft. And so the draft is starting next Thursday. And the Carolina Panthers are officially on the clock. This is a quarterback heavy draft with many draft prognosticators predicting that at least three quarterbacks are going to go within the first five picks. And so who will the Panthers take at number one? What's your selection? What's your thought on that?
So I'll be very honest. I don't know. I don't know what the Panthers are going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know they can go a couple different ways. I think they may actually trade out of this number
Hmm.
one pick.
Okay.
But you never know. Now, but here's my thing. This is what I'm looking for in the draft. I'm really looking to see, and this is all back to Lamar Jackson. I'm really looking to see what the Ravens are going to do. And the first 4 or 5 picks are really going to tell us what the Ravens are going to do. If the Ravens trade up, then we definitely know that is the end of Lamar Jackson as a Baltimore Raven. If they don't trade up, maybe they know something that we don't know. I still think that, and a lot of people are dismissing this. I still think that OBJ signing has entire impact on Lamar signing. Now they also talked about, and this is what we were going to talk about last week. Lamar said that you got to sign OBJ and
Mm-hmm.
DeAndre Hopkins. There's still a path to get DeAndre Hopkins as a Raven, and if they do that, we'll see what happens. But I'm more interested in what's going to happen with the Ravens, and it's clearly because I'm a fan and I want to know what's going to happen with Lamar.
So poo on the rest of the league. So let me throw away the rest of these questions. No,
You don't have to. You don't have to. I just don't know what the Panthers are going to do. I'm telling you, I believe the Colts are going to get them a quarterback. I don't know who.
hmm
I think the Colts are going to get them a quarterback. The Texans are going to get them a quarterback. It's just the Panthers. I'm kind of
Sure. I,
not quite sure.
I think it's going to be if it was my guesstimation, it would be C.J. Stroud. I think it's either him or Bryce Young. It's going to be one of those two that is going to go number one. They're definitely you hire Frank Wright, you bring in Jim Caldwell. You've done that to mold and shape a quarterback, and
That's true.
that's
That's
what you
true.
want. And so it's going to be one of them in terms of that first pick. I do agree with you, and that was one of my questions about the Ravens. Will they trade back to the second round, or will they try to move up into the top five to get one of those top three quarterbacks? Or are they going to stay at 22 and take a wide receiver or cornerback? I think, yeah, we'll see. If we see the Ravens make a move to get into the top five, the top six, then, that's going to take Lamar because they're not going to be able to get up there with just the 22nd pick. They're not going to be able to get up there with just the 22nd pick and Patrick Queen. And so Lamar is going to have to be a part of that deal if they get into the top five. And that's where you really want to be to get either Young, Stroud, or Richardson. And uh, that's what they have to do now. If we see that, then yeah, that Lamar's gone. We know, the future of that. I do agree with you. I think there's some cachet in them signing OBJ. I think there's some cachet of them possibly trying to get D Hopkins and what that means for Lamar staying. And so I think if they just stand pat at 22, they take a wide receiver or a cornerback. They take what's best on the board.
Exactly.
If it's not there, then they'll probably drop back to the second round and try to get something there.
Watch out for that Patrick Queen. I think we talked about this before. Watch out for
Right.
that Patrick Queen to Arizona for DeAndre Hopkins. It
That
may come with
that'll be
something,
a
but
good deal. It
watch
might
out for
come.
that.
Yeah, I like
Watch
that. I
out for
like
that.
that. And so that's as a matter of fact, I was going to talk about blockbuster trades. I think that's something that maybe we see. I think if there are teams that are like in the top 10 and they try to move up, they're going after a quarterback, like the Raiders or it's been saying that the Texans might not even take a quarterback at two. They might try to get Will Levis at 10. And so, that's a possibility because maybe they're just thinking that, Young and Stroud are, we can still get quality at 10 with Levis. And so, we'll see. I think if we see some movement of those teams who kind of like at the bottom half of the top 10, trying to get up within the top five, then we know that they're going for quarterbacks as well. And so it's
I can
interesting.
see the Texans reaching out high to get Richardson, and only because him coming in as an exciting player.
Mm-hmm.
Texans need people and fans in the seats. Their fans have been. I mean, when it comes to the coaching, when it comes to getting rid of the top players, the Texans fans are due for some excitement, and they need to sell some tickets. They need somebody that they can rally behind. And although I don't think Richardson would be ready to be a superstar that first season, I think I could see them reaching out to get him just to satisfy, some of that excitement that they've been missing since
Sure.
JJ Watt, since DeAndre Hopkins. You know what I mean? I can
Since
see that.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I can see that. I can
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, definitely. Let's transition to a little baseball. Not only are the Orioles winning, and it's a great time in Baltimore, they went several games without giving up a run, gave up a run in the
100 win
ninth
season.
inning. All right, you heard it here on
100 win
Fanboys.
season.
100 win
And they
season.
shouldn't have gave up that run last night. I was there. They should not have given up that run last night.
They're playing very well. It's still too early to talk baseball. We need something to talk about over the summer, so y'all be patient with us, y'all baseball lovers. But there is something happening in Major League, though. After years of failed attempts to find a new ballpark location that would keep them in Oakland, the Athletics announced Wednesday night that they have signed a binding contract for land in Las Vegas, where they intend to build a new ballpark for the team. The agreement signals that the franchise, which has been in Oakland since 1968, when they moved from Kansas City, intends to relocate to Vegas in the near future. And so, is this good for franchises to move for more money and to hold these cash-strapped cities hostage. I mean, we went through something like that with football, and we almost had it with baseball when Edward Bennett Williams brought the Orioles, and there was always this threat that he was going to move them to DC. And we just recently had the threat of the Angelos. One of Lou Angelos was saying that his brother was going to move the team to Nashville. And so, what do you think about these franchises moving teams?
So I think the unless it's a team like of course you saw how they moved the Seattle Supersonics to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Unless it's a team that the city is just not backing, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
the leagues will allow this to happen. Now, with that being said, when you get into, I've always felt like a state like California just has too many goddamn teams. Like, let's get somebody out of there. Like, you know what I mean? I understand
Mm-hmm.
you're a huge state, but you're talking the California Angels, the San Francisco Giants, the
Oh yeah, I
Oakland
forgot about
A.
that. Mm-hmm.
Like, and granted, they're not like a state like Maryland
Yeah.
where you can get to everything in Maryland within 2-3 hours. You
Right.
you can't do that in California. So I
Right.
understand,
Mm-hmm.
but you get a little jealous, like why they get so many teams? Like, let's move some of them out of there. Now,
Sure.
also with that being said, if you saw the owner of the now Las Vegas Raiders is a little upset that the baseball team could
Oh,
be
I didn't.
coming.
Okay.
Yeah, you get the
Yeah,
little
because they're talking
jiggles.
about building. The land is a mile from north of the
Right.
stadium, and so it's something that's going to be very close to their stadium.
Yeah, but it's baseball, sir. Like it's something about the Davises and these Raiders. They always want to be the only game in town. They always want to be. But
Hey.
Oakland needs the jolt. Oakland needs the new stadium. Would they have possums living in the
Yeah, they
stadium?
got the
And the
possums living
and
in
the
the
announcers
broadcast
booth?
booth and the
Yeah.
announcers
Like, what are
booth,
you
the toilets
doing?
backing up, and
What are
the
you doing?
clubhouses and stuff. Yeah.
Let's come to the American League East real quick. And I know we were talking about Oakland, but let's look at the Trop. The Trop is supposedly the worst stadium in
Right.
baseball, and the team is
Right.
doing amazing right now. The Rays have been doing well for the past at least
People don't
six
go
or
see the
seven
games.
years. They deserve a new stadium. It's
Mm-hmm.
like although the America is focused more on football and basketball and in some places even hockey more than baseball, but that doesn't mean baseball doesn't deserve to have top-notch facilities. And
Sure.
like, what are we doing, baseball? Like,
Sure.
come on. And it's not, of course, it's not baseball itself, it's the owners. But I think baseball, if you look at football, football is always looking to get a new stadium. They're
Mm-hmm.
always you're like,
Mm-hmm.
well, damn, didn't they just build that stadium? And they're
Mm-hmm.
getting a new stadium. Another team's getting a new stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, moving to cities, I think unless the city itself just does not back the team, which in some cases it's more of getting the money. Here in Baltimore, you remember when the Ravens did come, they were trying to get that new stadium, and Baltimore had to promise a whole bunch because Cleveland was like, we ain't doing it.
Right.
But
Right.
once the city backs them, they'll be fine.
Right.
But we'll see what happens with Oakland if they want
Listen,
to back them.
yeah, I understand it's capitalism, and these guys are capitalists, and they're looking. It's about the bottom line, and I feel bad for the young fan there. As a young fan here, when the Colts left, I love the Colts, and although they were terrible by the time that they left, it was like a real void of not having your own home team, and you kind of grew up with these franchises. You don't own them, and I think it kind of brings that reality is that they're not. We don't own them. They're not ours. They're these people that want to make money, and when they feel that it's time to leave, if they're not getting the concessions that they want, they go ahead and pull up, and they're not necessarily concerned about the everyday fan. And I think it's tough for some cities. You have some cities that are really broke that are building these multi-million-dollar stadiums that are only used if it's for baseball 81 times a year, if it's for football 8 times a year. But you have failing school systems, you have high poverty in areas where you need development, but you're putting a lot of resources because, if these owners are smart, they're usually holding these municipalities hostage for money. Build me a stadium, give me the land for free, give me the concessions for free. and it's not really costing them anything. It didn't cost Davis a lot to go to Vegas. That's why he went there. He didn't have no money, and they basically gave him everything he needed to build the stadium and to relocate. And they're going to do the same thing for Oakland. They're going to give them, they got the land. They're going to give them everything that they need to build that stadium at little to no cost and make it an easy transition. And so I think it's rough for some cities, our older cities that have these teams and the young fans. But
Well,
mhm,
I don't. So I don't feel as bad for the young fans, and I'll tell you why.
mhm,
So nowadays, with the this is in strict opposition of when we were growing up. The world is so much smaller now, and if you think about it, of course, when we were growing up, it was the Colts, it was the Orioles.
mhm.
That's what we were clinging to. But nowadays, with social media and everything, kids don't cling to teams; they cling to players.
That's true.
If you
True.
look around, teams,
That's true.
these kids, they it's the that get them excited. That's one reason why colleges it benefited colleges to get these NIL deals going on, because now these kids are following these players. They're following them wherever they go. So
Mhm.
at this transfer portal now, Angel Reese went from Maryland to LSU and became a champion. So kids, they didn't follow Maryland necessarily or LSU
Yeah, they're
necessarily. They're
following
following the
Angel Reese.
players. Yeah,
Hmm.
they're following the players. So you think about a Lamar Jackson. That's the one thing that I think is really going to hurt the Ravens if we lose Lamar Jackson. How many people, how many of these kids back Lamar Jackson? So it doesn't really matter where he go. And even us, there are a few of us, and I'm one of them. Like, yeah, I don't care where he goes. He go anywhere. I'm still going to be a fan. I'm still going to follow him. So although the cities may need the teams, the fans don't need the teams. The fans are following the players around. The young
Okay.
fans, that is. Us old guys, we're like, my MFG. We were
Right.
devastated at any word that the Orioles were going to leave. We were like,
Oh
oh no,
yeah,
oh
it was
no,
tight.
you're not.
It was tight for years and for years that the Orioles were going to leave if they didn't get another stadium and all those things. That always because of what Ursay did, and Ursay holding that. I mean, it was at one point, and I was young. I didn't realize this until later as adult, reading some of the background on that. He didn't play any exhibition games at home. He took all the exhibition games during the preseason and played them on the road
I didn't
as
know that.
as a way to kind of, he wanted to force the city into building him a stadium. And so he kept doing these different things as a kind of like, hey, I might take them out at any point. And so yeah, he they played several, and I think they played like six exhibition games back then. They played them all on the road. And so
They give Art Modell such a hard time, but Bob Ursay
yeah,
was
but
trash,
he was
sir. He
he
was
was
trash.
horrible, horrible. So yeah, so best of wishes to the A's. I have a timeshare, and they have a facility in Las Vegas. I've been there. It's not too far from Allegiant Stadium, and it won't be too
Okay.
far from the Oakland Stadium or the Athletic Stadium. So hopefully, I can plan a trip
I
out,
guess
a Fanboys trip, and we can go out there and watch a game.
Vada Blue and Dennis Eckersley and
Yeah,
Mark McGuire, Jose
and the straw that's,
Canseco,
come on, Reggie
Ricky
Jackson, don't forget him.
Henderson,
Hmm.
Not Tony La Russa. Them
Yeah.
old school A's ain't walking through that door anymore, huh?
No, no.
That
So
was
they
MC
get out
Hammer's
and Vegas.
team. MC Hammer
Right.
was a bad boy
Hammer.
for the A's.
Right. That's right. He got the name Hammer because he looked like Hank Aaron. And so Hank Aaron's nickname was Hammer, Hammer and Hank Aaron. And so they start calling him Hammer.
Reggie
As a matter of
Jackson
fact,
started his career with
I,
the
I,
A's and then went to
yeah,
the
Reggie
Yankees.
Jackson. I never forget that. I remember reading a story about how the Oakland A's had hired like a 12-year-old kid to be the general manager or the president of the team, and it was Hammer. Hammer became Hammer. He was the bat boy, and Charlie Finley, who was the owner of the team at that time, he used to do some weird promotional stuff. He gave Hammer the title of like vice president or something, and the players like Hammer, but eventually they thought he was going back to Finley, snitching on them, and so they something happened, and they wind up firing Hammer from the job. But he actually was like one of the youngest executives ever in Major League Baseball. It was just like it was an honorary title, but yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I remember
I
that.
think I think that was the basis for one of his videos, because they were like, Hammer, you ain't hitting in Oakland no more. What you gonna do? And Hammer said, a young Hammer said, I'm gonna turn this mother out.
That was the jam. People got some stuff, in hip hop. Hammer's first album was a beast, and so
They
yeah, that was good
listen,
Hammer.
listen. I have said it before, and I will say it for the rest of my life. The MC Hammer concert is the best
You
concert
see, yeah,
I
you
have
said that.
ever
You
seen
said
in
that.
my
You
life.
said that.
There was so much going. The greatest show he's put on, the greatest show, and I've seen them all back then. I've seen
Uh huh.
everybody from R. Kelly, the New Edition, to Janet Jackson, the Prince. MC Hammer is the best concert
Wow.
I've ever seen in my life. Prince had the best music, and Janet
Right.
Jackson looked the best. But MC Hammer is the best concert I've ever seen in my life. Best performance.
Fantastic. All right, now we're at a point in time that everybody loves. Segment in America. Come on, yo. So I know I went first last time. Would you like to lead us off? And I come on, yo.
Yeah, man. So I want to take it back to my Baltimore Orioles. This is not your
Orioles.
Edward Bennett Williams, your Pat Gillich, your old
Oriole.
Peter Angelos. This is not they Orioles no more. This is not your Billy Ripken, your Cal Ripken Senior Orioles. This is not your Joe Altobelli, your Hargrove, your
Your
Davy
Lee May
Johnson
Orioles.
Orioles. These young boys are exciting. I've been to two games this year. I went to opening day and I went to the game last night. Last year I went to a few games. I try to go to a few games every year at least. And
He
with
was
my
sitting in the
job, I'm
box
able to
last
go to
night,
a
y'all.
few.
He being modest. He was up in the
Uh,
box last night.
I'm sorry. I generally sit in the club seats, which is the box. I was sitting in the suite last night. I'm sorry. I wasn't down there with the
No,
common folks. I
he. Yeah, I
apologize.
mean, he was in the suites. I meant to say
Please.
the owner's suite. That's what I meant
Yeah,
to say. I'm
the
sorry. I
air is
said the
different up
box.
there. The air is different up there. I just
Yeah,
thought I'd
it
let
is.
you all
I've
know.
had the opportunity.
My,
Yeah.
my gosh, I don't. Sitting down with the common folks. I mean, but anyway, we all watch the same game. No, but no, seriously, the
Uh-huh.
Orioles young boys are playing with so much tenacity and excitement. I mean, even the pitching is coming around. Tyler Wells
Pitching's been
pitched
good.
into the seventh inning last night and gave up zero runs.
It's been
Zero
great.
runs. They did not score until Felix came in. Even the reliever
Mountain.
Felix, the closer Felix comes in, the mountain, the big boy. He came in.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much excitement. The lights go down. They start playing his music. It's so much excitement now. He gave up the run last night. And the reason I say it shouldn't have happened, Urias was that close to snatching that ball and making the
Mm-hmm.
forced play. But even with that, the old Orioles would have lost that game. The Orioles came back in the bottom of the ninth on a runner on first and third, ground ball to first base, and Mountcastle goes in and slides in to win the game on a throw to the plate. He beats the tag. I mean, the Orioles are, you've got to watch him this year. I watched the Castle game where he hit the grand slam and scored 9 RBIs. Every extra base hit these Orioles get, they're doing the sprinkler and they're spitting out the water. I mean, it is just the Orioles are so exciting this year. They're calling it the dong bong. They want to call it the Orioles want to
Yeah.
call it the homer hose, but when they hit home runs, they're doing the little hose with the water.
I don't
I
like
mean,
that. I like the home run chain from last
yeah, everybody uses the home run chain. I don't care about that. Get the dong bong out there. Get the dong bong.
year.
Garland old y'all. Garland old y'all.
I,
But no, the Orioles are so exciting this year, man. And batter in the lineup.
Mhm.
It's a shame Mateo got hurt because Mateo would have been hitting ninth in the lineup. But every batter in the lineup has the potential to get on base. Our guy Cedric Mullins started off slow. Last night he went 2 for 3 walks in there. I mean, he was just on
Playing well.
you got to go out and watch the Orioles. You got to go to Camden Yards. Camden Yards is also doing promotions of Monday through Thursday. The seats in the bleachers are $10. They also have a section in the upper deck that the hot dogs, the popcorn, the sodas are all $4.50. There's no reason for you to not catch a game in Baltimore if you are an Orioles fan. And even if you're not an Orioles fan, if your team comes to Baltimore, go game. It is so exciting down the yards once again. We started feeling it last year, and it is coming back. Sooner or later, you won't be able to grab those tickets if the Orioles keep playing the way they're playing. So make sure you're going out to watch these young boys. They are exciting. It's a whole new day in Baltimore. They're fun to watch, and they're getting 100 wins this season. Of course, they have to be in the league with the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Rays. Even though the Red Sox seem to be down this year, the Rays started off what 14 and 0, 13 and 0.
Yeah,
What they
13 and
just
0.
and they're still killing it. So we got to contend with them. We may not win the division with them still playing like that,
All those
but make
wins,
sure you
and
watch it.
we're only in fourth place.
still gotta watch. But they're beating the team. They're winning the series. They're supposed
Yeah,
to win.
yeah, we're winning series.
They're
That's
beating the
all you got
teams
to
they're
do. You got to
supposed to
keep on
beat, and
staying in
that's
there.
what you have to do. But make sure you go
Mm-hmm.
and watch the Orioles. They're exciting, man. Even in the game last night that only ended up 2-1, and you didn't get the runs until the eighth and ninth inning. Even in games like that, they're still
Mm-hmm.
exciting to watch. Make sure you get out and catch the game. Plus, with the time clock, the game was over by 10 o'clock. So, your
Yeah,
boy was happy about that. He's out
bro.
of
Because
there.
I was trying to find it on TV at 10 o'clock, and it was like game final. Like, yo, these games they're not playing on these clocks.
Had the O's up that run in the ninth inning, the game, I looked at my watch, the game would have been over at like 10 after 9.
Wow.
A
Yeah,
seven
they're not
o'clock
playing.
game.
Yeah, they're not playing on this. That's the one of the greatest inventions because
Yes.
baseball is at least it's like golf. Playing around the golf is at least 3 hours, 3.5, and yeah, that's the greatest thing
If
they
it
ever done.
goes over 3 hours, then you have a high scoring game. And you know
Mm.
what? I gotta relate this to. So all of you all that don't want to come to see my Orioles, think my Orioles are sorry. Come on, yo. As
Come
a
on, yo.
matter of fact, not come on, yo. Come to the game. Come on, yo. Stay home. We don't need you anyway.
Right.
The Orioles bandwagon is open right now. We've
Yeah.
opened it up for y'all. Y'all want to come on. Y'all want
Come
to come
on.
on. Even those of you that root for the team in Camden South, which is the Nationals, we took two of them
Bro.
from y'all. Plus, we got y'all Mumbo Sauce as an advertising. There's Mumbo Sauce
Yeah.
advertising at Camden Yards, and I had some last night, and it's actually really good because it's Baltimore sauce. It's Baltimore Mumbo Sauce. Don't get me.
Come on up,
You know
Mo.
what? I'm at the yeah. We about to take y'all go too.
Yeah, yeah, John. Yeah, come on up here, Mo.
We're gonna
Come
take
watch these games, Mo.
we're gonna take Well, come on, y'all. Stop sleeping on my O's. Come back to the yards if you
Hey,
haven't been there. Come back to the
I went to a
Orioles.
game last year. I got a foul ball, and they won that game. And so, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a great night. It's a great time to go out there. And like Calvin said, you go during the week, you can get some nice cheap seats
Yeah.
and just have a nice night out. It's a real good experience. A real good experience. All right, come on, yo. The price of the brick is going up. YouTube announced cost for the new Sunday ticket package. Now, one of my favorite shows of all time was HBO's The Wire. Like me and Calvin, we have this debate about The Wire and Snowfall all the time.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
I know.
No debate.
No debate.
No
The
debate.
Wire was a no debate. The Wire was a drama set in Baltimore City that was written and produced by former Baltimore Sun reporter and author David Simon. Over the 5 seasons of the series, the show had some very interesting characters. One of the most popular villains on the show was a character named Marlo Stansfield. Now, Marlowe ran the West Baltimore crew that took over the territory from the Barksdale crew. Now, Marlowe, he had plans to be the boss of the city, and he figured out uh, if he found out who the connect was for the co-op group that was run by Stringer Bell and Prop Joe, he would be the king. And so he was able to do that by killing Prop Joe and becoming the connect for the Greeks. And so, as he met with the other drug dealers in the co-op, and he disbanded the co-op, he told them, Calvin, the price of the brick is going up. Well, at the end of the 2022 NFL season, it was announced by the league that its prior sports package, the NFL Sunday Ticket, would not return to DirecTV. Now, as a DirecTV subscriber since 2007, this made me very sad because I love the opportunity to watch out of market games when the Ravens had a bye or they played the late or early game. Also, they had something called the Red Zone channel, which switched through games and took you directly to action when a team was inside the 20-yard line. In fact, the main reason why I got DirecTV, Calvin, was because of the Sunday Ticket. Period. That's really the only reason why I got it. Now, in February, it was announced that YouTube would be the new home for the Sunday Ticket, and last week they announced the prices for the package. And guess what? The price of the brick is going up, my man. Now, the whole move of getting it to YouTube was that they wanted to go direct to consumer because the only way you could get the Sunday Ticket before that was to have direct TV. So, just like with direct TV, you can get the Sunday Ticket as an add on if you have a YouTube subscription. And if you do that by June 6th, it's going to cost you $249. Now, if you're not able to do that by June 16th, June 6th, and you do it after June 6th, it's going to add an extra $100 to that cost. It's going to be $349. Now, you don't have to have a YouTube subscription to get it, but you can subscribe to something called primetime channels for YouTube, and you can just pick certain channels that you want to stream. Now, if you do that, the Sunday Ticket will cost you $349 if you do it before June 6th, and 389, oh, no, excuse me, 449 after if you do it after June 6th. And so I guess I'm gonna be working my stick during the football season and trying to find a stream. So if you know any streams and you want to send us a message of finding out of market games on the stick, please let us know. I won't give you my address because I don't want the FCC to be knocking on my door trying to arrest me for watching illegal TV. And so please disregard anything I said about the stick. I don't know anything about sticks. I don't know anything about illegal streams, but I do know this: the price of the brick is going up. So come on, yo. You're gonna have to take out another mortgage. You're gonna have to take out a loan. Now, I'll confess to this. When I had the Sunday Ticket with DirecTV, they used to break it up into 6 payments, and then, so that made it digestible. I mean, it was expensive, but it was digestible because they break it into, like, once the season started in August preseason, they start breaking up the payments, and so it was easy to digest. But YouTube ain't. They don't care about your digestive system. Give us that money before June 6th. And if you give us the money after June 6th, tack on an additional $100 to that. And so come on, yo. The price of the brick is going up.
TCI Cable, aka Comcast Cable, aka Xfinity, doesn't do a whole lot right, but the one thing they do get right is part of their sports package is the Red Zone channel. The
Mm-hmm.
DirecTV Red Zone channel is different from the Red Zone.
That's Scott Hansen.
Yeah, Scott Hansen. Now, I
mm-hmm.
will say, if you wherever area you live in, do whatever you do. I The Red Zone channel to me is probably the greatest thing ever invented. The one drawback that I had when I was looking into getting Direct TV to get the NFL package, and this was years ago, and I think it was $300 then when it kind of first came out. The only drawback I had was, well, these games are on at the same time, and I'm not really interested in the full game. But when the Red
Mm-hmm.
Zone channel came out, they would, like you said, within the 20-yard line, within scoring. And that to me is the greatest invention ever because you get to see every score. And of course, if no
Mm-hmm.
one's scoring, they'll show you the teams that are closer to scoring. I think the
Mm-hmm.
Red Zone channel, the only drawback I have with the Red channel is that there's no commercials. So you got to strategically decide when you're going to get up and get something to eat and go to the
Mm-hmm.
bathroom. And if you our age, you got to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom multiple times because this joint
Mm-hmm.
is going from 1 o'clock to the end of the last snack
Bro.
and the 4 o'clock
I used to
game.
be in front of
So
the TV. By the time we get to 7 o'clock, I'd be like, oh, it's an eight
the
o'clock
I,
game. It's covered all that to this, and I didn't watch TV. You know, one thing Direct TV used to do, they used to have these game recaps where they would play the whole game but take out all the commercials. They would just do the
Okay.
plays, and so you could watch a game in 30 minutes.
Okay.
And so they
Okay.
used to do a
See, that's more palatable for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the Tuesday after the end of the Monday night game, and so you could watch all the games in 30 minutes, a full game, and they would cut out all any commercial and just show straight plays. But they
So that's
stopped doing it after a while.
so what Xfinity do is get that red zone channel out to people so people can purchase that.
Mm-hmm.
People purchase that. That could be a big money. I really think that's one of the best inventions that they have, because you don't have to commit to every single game. And even if you're like us, you watch Ravens game, when the commercial comes on, you flip to the red zone channel and see what else is going on instead of just having to flip to one game and see where they at and what they're doing. So, but that's just me. That's just what I think. So, but yeah, that's a whole lot of money. And no shade to YouTube, because we are live on YouTube with our podcast right
Yeah,
now.
I'm sorry, YouTube. I ain't saying nothing against you. I want to say nothing
Although
against you.
every 4 or 5 years or so, I
Against you.
look to get rid of Xfinity. So I looked to YouTube TV one time and did their trial for 1 week. YouTube TV is actually pretty good.
I
It's
went on
actually a
vacation,
pretty good
and
service.
the house that we rented, they had YouTube TV, and I was
Hmm.
surprised. I was like, "Yo, this is pretty decent."
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's economical, and it gives you most of the channels that you would probably watch. I mean, of course, everyone has different tastes, but it gives you most of those. A lot of the other services could we so the wife and I, we watch things like The Walking Dead, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them didn't have AMC, which The Walking Dead was on. Some of them don't come with enough sports channels, so you're not getting like ESPN. You might get Fox Sports or something, like, you know what I mean? They all came
Right.
with different things, but YouTube TV pretty much had everything that we were looking for. I think it was missing like some obscure channel that my wife watches for like Criminal Minds or something. So she
Okay.
was like, "Oh, that's a deal breaker. We're not doing that. We're not
Right.
doing that." But
I need
YouTube TV
Tubi to
isn't bad.
get the red zone channel or something. Tubi, can you get the red zone channel?
Tubi gonna get the bootleg Black Red Zone channel. It's gonna be the Yo Zone channel, and
Right.
they just gonna have the street dudes at the elementary schools and the Pee Wee League scoring touchdowns every 5 minutes.
Right.
Let's let's shift to the over playing the Garden Village Knights.
Right. Tubi, work on that.
Hey man, another good podcast we had. Again, we apologize for not being here last week, but when we get here, it's like we never left. We always family here. We definitely appreciate you all joining us. As you know, we ended our broadcast for snowfall, but we're thinking about doing some other things coming up
Yeah,
next
yeah.
week. Might do some other things, review some things. We've heard you. We talked about it a little bit last week. We might have to do this crab cake thing because clearly, being from Baltimore, Garland does not know what a great crab cake is. He out there in Harford County. Oh, he didn't want to
Uh,
give you his address. I'm gonna give you his address. It's top of the hill, Harford County, one top of the hill mansion,
what top
Harford
of the hell?
County, because he is so far removed from the ghettos here in Baltimore that he don't know what a good crab cake is. He swears Box Hill is it, and just because they had
Bro,
the he was before the video. I will give him this. Garland was championing for Box Hill before the little
I have
TikTok
been on the
video
Box
where the
Hill.
dude where
Yes.
the dude had two crab cakes put together. And who eats crab cakes in a sandwich? Clearly out of towners. Out of
He
towners
was.
put him
He's
in a
from Atlanta.
sandwich.
He was going to visit family in New
Out
York.
of
The
towners
article
put
said
him
in the
on a
paper,
sandwich.
and he
He was eating it like a hamburger,
did
like
you
a
read
like a
that?
cheesesteak dripping down your it's dropping out. That's out of towners do that. Don't do that. What
Bro,
puts a crab on the sandwich? No one
I'm
does
telling
that.
you right now, I will put Box Hill and Fortunatos up against any Baltimore metropolitan crab cake around.
Clearly, Garland is living, like I said, at the castle at one Mansion Hill on the mountaintop in Harford County. That's his address, y'all. One Mansion Hill, the castle top. Make sure you right up there. FCC, go there and strip him of his bootleg TV channels. Gonna holler. He gonna put Box Hill. And Fortunato sound
Box
like they
Hill.
sell Chinese food. Box Hill is Box Hill Pizzeria. So
actually,
Fortunato's is number one Chinese food.
Fortunato's is an Italian eatery as well, but they have a great crab cake.
Oh, so you pronounced it wrong. If they're Italian, he called it Fortunato. They're called Fortunatas.
Fortunatos.
Yeah, see, he pronounced it wrong. I don't need the mob on me. My bad, Fortunatas. Right. My bad. I don't need
frickin' Fortunatos.
I don't need Freddie Knuckles knocking on my door like, hey, let me talk to guy.
Get the cannoli.
Hey, man. Really appreciate y'all. Make sure, like I said, you like, rate us, review us on the podcast. We are on all of the podcast services that you can. The Apple, Spotify, all the ones you can think of. We're on every last one of them. We're live on YouTube, so you can always rewatch this. Make sure you rate us, review us, leave us a message, engage with us. We're looking forward to all of that. We may have some advertisements coming up. You know, we try and get big. Your boys are trying to get big, and not physically big. We trying to get, you know, the other big. You know what I mean? We trying to get out here known. So if you know some
trying
people,
to get you the paper.
Exactly. If you know some people that want us to advertise there, holler at us. You know, we got
Fortunato's, Box Hill.
I mean, if they,
I might have to go knock. I might have to go knock at the door.
They're gonna pay.
They're gonna pay a crab cake. Well, they can just pay me in crab cake because
they ain't got enough. They ain't got enough in crab. I don't know about Fortunatas, but Box Hill they ain't got. Let me stop. Box Hill crab cakes are not bad. Let me not act like they're bad. Box Hill crab cakes are good. I just don't think they're the best. Garland thinks they're the best.
I'll try to see if they want to.
I actually have a friend, my wife's best friend, her husband. When they come down from New Jersey. So they've always said, where's a good crab cake place? And I always send them to Box Hill because it's on the way. It's on the way to New Jersey. And he really, really likes Box Hill. Okay. He came down to Howard with his daughters last week, visiting Howard University because it's one of the colleges. I told him, I said, since you're down this far, go in the Bowie, go to Jerry's, because I think Jerry's Seafood has the best crab cake. It's called the Crab Bomb. He stopped in. He likes Box Hill better. Now, granted, he's from New Jersey, so he's a crab cake baby.
It don't count.
He don't know what he's talking about. He's from New Jersey, a crab cake baby. So he don't know what he's talking about. But he did tell me. I was like, okay. I said, my guy Garland will be glad to hear that. You know, but that's
I'm trying to tell him, y'all. I keep trying to tell him, y'all.
Anyway, we thank you all for joining us. We hope next week. I'm about to hit this outro for y'all. Hey, again, this is All Things Black presents Fanboys. I'm Calvin. The guy with the bad crab cake palette over there is Garland. And we'll talk to you all later.
Ciao, Bella.
Later, man.
You have been listening to Fanboys, an All Things Black with Garland and Calvin production. Thank you for listening, and make sure to rate and review this episode on all of your podcast platforms.